Hello. Today we're going to talk about to be going to. And I'm going to put to be over here in parentheses just because this part, the to be part, needs to be conjugated to the appropriate subject. And so let's say that I want to talk about an activity, an action that I want to do in the future. All right. So let's say that you have something you want to do not today or yesterday or in the past, but you want to talk about something that you want to do in the future. So let's say, for example, 2016. All right. So you want to do tomorrow, you want to do next month, you want to do in 2016. All right. Well, there's a very easy way to express that, and that is with to be going to. Let's say I'll give you a sentence. Let's say the sentence I am going to create a machine. Okay? And if you notice, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this into a different color. And if you notice, essentially what I did is I wrote a simple present sentence. You see, I create a machine. And in between the verb right here and the subject right here, what I did is I put the phrase am going to. And notice that when I say am going to, I'm doing the same thing here that the title is saying to be going to, but I am conjugating the verb to be according to the subject that I'm using. So in this case, the subject that I'm using is I, of course, the verb to be. The conjugation of the verb to be for I is going to be am. And I assume that everybody watching this video knows the conjugation of the verb to be. So for I is going to be am, for you is going to be are, he is, etc., etc., etc. So you say, I am going to create a machine. And you can even, if you want, give me an expression of time, because this expression is telling me that you don't create a machine frequently. It's not that you create a machine normally. It's that you are going to, in the future, you are going to create a machine. So you can even give me an expression of time and say, I am going to create a machine in 2016, for example. All right. There are two main things that you want to remember when you're using to be going to. Number one, please remember that the verb to be needs to be conjugated to whatever the subject is. In this case is I, but whatever subject it is, the verb to be needs to be conjugated. And then the second thing that you want to remember is that the main verb here, which is the action that we're talking about, right? We're talking about create. We're not talking about going. We're not talking about am. We're talking about create. And so that's why this is the main verb. And the main verb needs to always be in the infinitive form. All right? And if you want to be super specific, the actual name that you want to use is bare infinitive. And don't be intimidated when I say bare infinitive. Bare infinitive is simply the normal way of writing a verb. So say, for example, I have the verb to cook. The bare infinitive form is the same verb, but now I don't say to, I only say cook. So the main verb needs to be always in the bare infinitive form. And those are the two things that you want to remember. The verb to be conjugated in the phrase to be going to, and the main verb in the bare infinitive form. All right? Let's try an example. Let's try another example. All right. So let's say, for example, the phrase, or actually, let's just say that we're talking about me. All right. So this is me. All right. And the problem with me now is that I have no money. I'm very poor. I have zero money. But my intentions, my plans into the future are that at some point in my life, I want to have a lot of money. So I want to move from this guy that has no money to this guy that has a lot of money. All right. So there's a very easy way to express that. And so we can say, now, yeah, now I don't have money. Or I could say, now I am poor. Yeah, and I say I am poor because I'm talking about now. I'm talking about the present. But when I talk about this guy over here, this guy in the future, I can't use the present. So what I would say is this: now I am poor. Then I would say, but I am going to be rich. All right. And so basically, I just say now, right? An expression of time that indicates the present, and then a simple present sentence. But then when I want to talk about the future, I say I am going to. And if you notice, we are following the same concepts that we just saw. The verb to be is conjugated for the subject, and the main verb is in the infinitive form. So if you see, because I'm talking about the verb to be, I'm going to say be. I'm not going to say am. I'm not going to say is or are. I'm going to say be, which is the bare infinitive form of the verb to be. If the phrase was for he, for example, if the phrase were for he, I would say he is poor, but he is going to be rich. All right? And I would conjugate it according to what is appropriate. And that is the concept of to be going to.